guys, it's Toxic Fox. Welcome back to my channel for another Vlogmas video. Today we are making a cute little Christmas ornament craft. Yeah, we're gonna be doing this on my tiny mini knitting machine. This is a 22 pin. I thought about doing it on the 48, but I just want to do an ornament size one, not a big one. But it would be super easy to translate it onto the bigger machine. We are going to be using some white yarn, some teal party sparkle yarn, and we are going with some red as well because we're getting a little extra festive. Now I haven't decided whether I'm going to be using buttons or safety eyes, but we'll get to that when we get to it. And yeah, so we're just gonna jump right in and do some fun things. Alright, so I'm using a drill because I've been using the machine for a while and I'm very used to the machine and this specific yarn, but I don't recommend using a drill or an adapter if you're new to the knitting machines. That being said, I did 70 rows of the white yarn in order to get my tube for the main snowman body and his head. It does work up pretty quickly with the 22 pin, and then we're going to take it off the knitting machine. This is the part that's a little fiddly. You just want to go and make sure you pick up every stitch so that you don't end up with any drop stitches and runs through your tube, because that would be really sad. And I gotta say, fixing those drop stitches is probably one of my least favorite things to do ever. And once you have your tube off, you can go ahead and stretch it out just to even all the stitches up. And we're going to use the tail on each end to cinch them, essentially closing off the tube. Now you could do this as one single layer before separating it into the head and body, but I like folding it over and creating that double layer because it helps keep all of the stuffing inside and just makes it so that there's no holes that you see through into the inside. So now I'm taking one tail and threading it through the center so that I can tie the two tails together just to secure that end. And then we're going to go ahead and take these remaining strings and just stick them on into the inner side and then knot them together again for extra security. And then I think we trim them up. You don't have to trim them because they are going to be inside, but we trim them up because I am using those yarn pieces to finish it off. So you're going to put your yarn onto your needle and then just run the needle through the end, or what is now your end of the tube, just between the two layers, so that we're going to be able to cinch them together since we don't have a tail at this end now. Once that is done, you can go ahead and add your stuffing, whatever kind of stuffing. You can have polyfill, acrylic fill, you could use like fabric scraps, yarn scraps, whatever you want to stuff it with. If you want to make it weighted so that it'll stand up on its own, you could add some glass beads into the bottom, or just like flaxseed or poly pellets or something, but this is an ornament, so I want him nice and light. Once you have the stuffing in there to the size that you like, you can go ahead and use those threads that you have to cinch the top. And then I'm going to go ahead and with the needle just run it across the gap from cinching a couple of times just to kind of finish it off so that it is nice and secure, and you don't have to worry about making this pretty because we're going to cover it with a hat. So it's still gonna look cute. Now you can roll it out, squidge it into shape. I like to squish it around so I have this kind of peanut shape. It gives me a good idea of where I want to weave this next piece of yarn through, because you're going to weave this in and out in just kind of a straight stitch all the way around the neck of your snowman. Again, this doesn't have to be pretty, it's going to be covered up. And then you can tie them together to cinch it, and that creates your head and body. So now it looks a little bit more like a snowman and less like a packing peanut. And once you've knotted that a couple of times, we're just going to pop the yarn into the needle and then just make it disappear inside the body, because nobody wants ends sticking out. And then I did another tube. This was, I believe, 50 rounds on the knitting machine, and then I just did the same thing with the body, but instead of cinching the end of it, we're gonna fold it over and make a little hat. To get the ornament tie on top, I just took my strands of yarn, added an extra one, and braided them before looping it in and tying it on the inside. You could also just pop a piece of ribbon through there, that's up to you. Now for the scarf, I am just doing some double crochet to make a little tiny scarf. If you make this on a larger knitting machine, you could totally use the 22 pin to make yourself a scarf for a 48 pin snowman. But if I use the knitting machine again for this one, his scarf's just going to be way too wide. So we're going to hand crochet one. I will say I changed my mind. When I did this, I was going to go the long way, and then I took what I had of the scarf apart and chained probably about 60 or 75 stitches, and then just did 2 rows of double crochet stitches back and forth on that to create this scarf. It just seemed to work up a little faster. Now you're going to wrap it around on your snowman and get it positioned how you want. Make sure he looks cute. And then I am just taking a little scrap piece of yarn, and we're going to use this to just kind of tack down the scarf so it doesn't fly off. And you can tie it in a little knot and then just hide your ends underneath the scarf where no one will ever see them. And there he is! And that's how I made this really super adorable snowman Christmas ornament. You could definitely use safety eyes and like little button noses or buttons for eyes, and you could totally put like buttons on his front if you wanted to, but I really like him without the eyes. I think he's just adorable, so that's how I did him. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed making this super cute tiny snowman Christmas ornament with me, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!